And now.
That's the middle shot. He scores! Slips it off to Wyatt Matthews. He's in! Eagles take the lead!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Welcome to Sports Talk, the number one sports podcast in the Philadelphia area. Come on out here, Brodes. This episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is brought to you by Sports R Philly. Sports R Philly contains a wide variety of great blogs across the Philadelphia area. You can follow them on Twitter at Sports R Philly or check out their website, www.sportsrphilly.com.
What is going on, everyone? We are here for an episode 21 of Sports Talk with Brodes. To follow me on Twitter, it is at sportsandbrodes, and you can call into the show using a voice recording app and sending it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. So before I get into today's episode, I just want to talk about a little email that I got, and it reads, I'll summarize, but Brodes, I've been following your progress over the past year. Man, I love the podcast. I started listening about a couple weeks ago, and I can't get enough of it. Once I put my headphones on at night, hit the play button on Sports Talk with Brodes, hearing you talk sports, the passion in your voice, makes me feel normal again. It's crazy here at the United States Naval Academy 24/7. I'm proud of you for living out your dreams. Keep doing what you're doing, and doors will open. Now, that is the kind of stuff that makes me want to keep doing this. So I appreciate it. That is from one of my captains of my junior hockey team from a few years ago in Vermont. So that meant a lot to me, and I appreciate that. So that's a little heartwarming. Let's get into the show. This may not be a little heartwarming. Joel Embiid, still not cleared to play 5-on-5 basketball. He's not even cleared to play 3-on-3 basketball. Something is wrong. There is 2 weeks until preseason. There's just something wrong. If there wasn't, he would totally be cleared to play, and that's what scares me. The Philadelphia 76ers are holding something from the fan base. They don't want us to know that either he needs another surgery or the surgery didn't go as planned, but there's no way that this is a smokescreen. It just doesn't make sense. He would be able to play basketball at this point if he was healthy. You wouldn't want him to not be playing basketball 2 weeks before the preseason. Something's messed up, and I don't know what it is. My hopes are not there, though. People really do believe that this is a smokescreen, and they just don't want people to know that he's healthy, and then he's going to come out this year and bang. But that doesn't make sense, because he's not even preparing himself for the season. He can't even play. With that being said, though, Brian Colangelo was talking about Ben Simmons, saying how he is just going to be absolutely phenomenal. His dedication in the gym is like no other. Maybe LeBron James. But if you're comparing him to LeBron James, then that's totally okay with me. But no, they are really, really happy with what they've been seeing from Ben Simmons. And I've been saying this from the beginning. He is legitimately going to facilitate the floor like no other person we have seen here. It is a big, big body. This isn't a point guard body. Although he will be playing the point guard, apparently, and covering the 4 on defense, while we have J.J. Redick and Fultz defending the 1 and 2. So hopefully, I mean, the NBA is not really positions anymore anyway. All they do is cover, it's one-on-one matchups. But to be facilitating the floor with the ball and being the prime ball handler, and then having to get back on the 4 spot every time you come back to D for a rookie, I mean, it could get overwhelming. You never know. But I do believe that he has the skills to facilitate the floor like LeBron does. But at the same time, you watch Cleveland in the past, and they have been running the floor with Kyrie and LeBron. I wonder if our coach, Brett Brown, is going to have somebody like Fultz be a ball handler as well, and will be more 50-50. It only creates more options. But, hey, who am I? I'm a guy with a Sixers hat talking sports on a podcast. I'm just so pumped. I am just so pumped. But at the same time, devastated. Because I know for a fact Embiid is screwed. I just know it. That's how it works. Now, I was listening to a little bit of Philly sports radio, and one of the topics that came up is after next year, we're going to have to sign him for a max contract. Joel Embiid, this is. Because he is going to be a restricted free agent, and somebody is going to offer him a max contract. So we are going to have to match that. So realistically, we are going to have to offer him a max contract. Now, some people were calling in saying absolutely not. The guy's played 8% of his games since he's been in the league. He's played 31 basketball games out of like 290-something. But on the other hand, this is somebody who you just don't let go. This is a freak of nature in the NBA. People were also giving the argument that this isn't a big man's league anymore. You don't need to be a big guy. You need shooters and small guys, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. That's what wins it these days. Well, I think that's what wins it these days because a big man is so unpopular. Someone so physically gifted and having the moves that Joel Embiid has in the post is just not common. So you don't see it as much because it's not as popular as someone who can shoot the ball. But man, I'll tell you, this foot problem, it's over. Big guys in this league who have foot injuries just don't pan out. It's just too much weight on his body, man. Oh. See, here I am. Now I'm getting upset. I was so pumped, right? I said a couple minutes ago I'm so excited but so devastated at the same time. I am interested in what's going to happen. I mean, personally, my belief in this whole max contract thing is you have to do it. You have to do it. You can't let Joel Embiid go and then him be a stud somewhere else. Or it's not even like just a stud because, like I said, this injury is definitely going to follow him throughout his career. It's just how it works. There are stats that prove it with other players who are his size in the NBA. Now, here is another question. Do the Sixers make the playoffs if Joel Embiid is injured and cannot play, but you still have Ben Simmons running the floor, Markelle Fultz, J.J. Redick, and Sharch? Is that still a playoff team? I don't know. If I said we were winning 40 games with Joel Embiid healthy, he's not healthy, right? So we got to go lower. I think we win less games if he's not there, right? So if we win 35 games, 34 games, that's not playoffs. That is not playoffs. So this will hurt. This will hurt. I actually might cry thinking about it. I'm sitting here, now my mind's racing, and I'm thinking, oh man, we actually might not have Joel Embiid this year. I think a tear just dropped onto my desk. Devastating. Devastating. But moving along, we're going to stick in the NBA a little bit. We did have a Thursday night football game, which I will get to. It was actually not a bad game, and I definitely thought it would be. But moving on to something that I think is interesting. Kyrie Irving was on First Take, and he was getting questioned about LeBron this, LeBron that. Why didn't you talk to him? Why did you leave? All these questions. And then he came out and said, I'm not trying to just play ISO ball this year. I'm a team point guard, and I will be handling the ball, not just playing ISO basketball the whole time. As much as I love LeBron and the Cleveland Cavaliers, well, not the Cleveland Cavaliers, but just LeBron, obviously, I don't think the Celtics are going to actually beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't. I think LeBron still is too dominant at this time. But Kyrie is going to play with that attitude. he's going to play with a scary-ass attitude, and that's the truth. And he is going to have a really good year this year. I think he's going to play with that Mamba-like, if you will, mindset. And he's going to have a great year. He really is. He is a player who is trying to prove all the haters wrong. It's another KD situation, but to a different extent. But he is going to go off. I really do believe that he is going to bring this Celtics team to another level. They're still going to finish a little bit short of what they need, though. LeBron is going to win the Eastern Conference Finals. He will make the finals again this year. I was just talking to my boy yesterday. We were just talking basketball while playing 2K. And I was just thinking, man, like, how many more years does LeBron really have in the tank? I don't know. I would like to say at least 2 to 3 more years absolutely dominant. But when is it going to be the time for LeBron to be coming off the bench and just bringing the veteran presence? You know what I mean, though? Like, that's got to happen. At age 40, you think he's going to be playing all these minutes? I mean, I hope so. I really do hope so. But I feel like at one point, it just happens, right? I mean, you see it all around NBA superstars. Dirk, for example. The dude, I mean, to an extent, he dropped down big time, but his age got to him, and he's a role player that comes off the bench in Dallas. You know what I mean? Maybe not to that extent for LeBron, but there's got to be a point where this man just isn't bringing the heat like he's been throughout his whole entire career. I hope to God I'm wrong. I want to see this man do it till he's 65, maybe even 70. And that also brought up another topic when we were just hanging out playing 2K. We were talking about the greatest in all sports. And then I came to conclusion. I don't really talk about it on here too much. I might have a little bit during the US Open for tennis. But there is just as much of a love for Serena Williams for me as LeBron James. She is just another person in her field that is so amazing, man. She is awesome. She is a hell of an athlete. She's just a hell of an athlete. I had a weird dream with her in it yesterday. I was racing her and winning, right? I was beating Serena Williams in a race. It was like one of those runnings, biking, and then swimming kind of deals. And she was having trouble in the swimming, and I had to help her, and I saved her. And then I won a gold medal. I still beat her, but I saved her from drowning. Very weird dream, right? I don't know. I figured I'd just throw that out there. But Serena, really, she is the GOAT. She is the GOAT. I wonder who would win in a tennis match. Now, there was a huge discussion in this before because someone who covers tennis got asked a question about Serena being the best woman's tennis player in the world, and why not just the best tennis player in the world? And then he responded with, she would be ranked like 700 in the men's. She would definitely be able to beat some men out there for sure. She can hang 100% with a lot of these men that are in the field of tennis. I want to move along to a little NFL action. Last night, Thursday night football was interesting. The game was actually enjoyable. You look at those teams and you're like, oh, wow, that's going to be a brutal game, like I said before. And you know what? It wasn't, and I was wrong. Now, this is why I don't like the Rams. They're very interesting this year. Their team has done a little bit of a 180 turn from last year. I guess getting rid of the head coach and all was obviously a big deal to the offense, because this offense is looking phenomenal. This is why I think I don't like the Rams, at least. Goff versus Wentz is equivalent to Sidney Crosby and Alexander Ovechkin. Those two are always going to be compared with each other, considering they were drafted in the same year, 1 and 2. Crosby is more like Wentz, right? I hope so. That's where I'm going with here. I really hope that Wentz is more like Crosby. But with the eye test so far, it looks that way. I mean, Goff hasn't played as many games as Carson, but Carson has that feel. They were talking about it on the game last night. When Goff gets in trouble, he likes to backpedal in the pocket, and that just helps out the offensive line or the defensive line of the other team because it gives them an easier route to get to. When good quarterbacks like Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady are under pressure, they move forward into the pocket. What Carson Wentz does is run, which is awesome because he's the GOAT. Now, one of the best things that probably could have ever happened to Sammy Watkins was get traded to LA. When that trade first happened, everybody kept saying he had the worst part of that deal. No way. Not the way this offense is looking. I'd rather be there than in Buffalo like Jordan Matthews is. Their offense is atrocious right now. Sammy Watkins, that offense looks really good. I mean, that Todd Gurley, 3 touchdowns. Pretty sure all 3 of them came in the first half, too. There was a major change in that offensive structure because they seriously look like a whole different team. I'll say it, though. Goff is raising the eyebrows a little bit. He is coming into it, which makes sense, though. You're not just going to come into the league and start tearing it up unless your name is Carson Wentz. Am I being a little bit biased? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. So how about this? The tickets for last night's game in San Fran were $22. I don't want them to complain when their team gets moved because that's the kind of stuff that gets your team moved. 20 minutes before the game, they had a live broadcast of 4 NFL analysts right on the field. You could see how empty it was. It was pathetic. Pathetic. And that's the kind of stuff that makes franchises move. It's just not going to hang there. I can't believe it. Also, going back to the Todd Gurley thing when he had 3 touchdowns last night, I'm pretty sure I picked Melvin Gordon over him. Not saying Melvin Gordon is not good or anything, but he's got 6 touchdowns in the first 3 games, and that hasn't happened since Marshall Faulk in L.A. And he had 6 touchdowns all year last year, and he's got 6 in the first 3. So he's looking to have like one of those years. You know what I mean? Now, one of the things I want to get to is I want to look at this NFC picture. I'm sorry about that. NFC picture. The NFC right now looks pretty doable for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, here we go with the NFC North, right? Detroit is 2-0 leading the NFC North. The NFC South has Atlanta and Carolina both at 2-0. And the Rams at 2-1. Now, there are a few teams I can list here that are better than the Eagles. No doubt about it. I mean, Green Bay, Atlanta, Carolina, and the only thing that scares me about Seattle is their defense. Their offense is in a big, big time struggle. But I feel like their defense has enough in the tank to really make the team something special still. So those 4 teams in the NFC are better than the Eagles. But who's 5? If the Eagles are 5, I mean, that's not bad, right? This Giants game will really say something. People are afraid since the Giants are 0-2 that this is a must-win situation. It's kind of similar to if you see like a wounded deer, you think, oh, that's easy, I got this one. But since he's wounded and he knows it, he's going to work even harder to get away or attack you, whatever. It's that kind of theory. I don't know. It can go either way, but I am so pumped for this Eagles game. I wish they were wearing all black, but they're not. They're going green tops, white pants. I wanted to see the all black. They did the color rush last night. Those jerseys are fresh. I love the color rush Jays, man. They look so good. They're so cool. A lot of them just pop. Speaking of the Giants, though, there was a 98.7 ESPN Sports Radio, Michael Kay, obviously big-time New York sports guy. His sidekick on his radio show, I can't even explain this. This is something you need to go and look up. They were talking about the offensive line and how bad it was. And this man got so heated. I've seriously never seen anything like it. His face was getting red. He was making obnoxious faces and noises and just getting so ridiculously fired up about how bad this offensive line was. It just got really awkward. It was insanely awkward. You have to look it up. Use something like 98.7, ESPN, Michael K. Show, Giants, Fired Up, anything like that. You have to go check this out. It is hysterical. But I get it. I get the pain. That just means that guy really cares. Although it might have been a little aggressive. Hilarious, though. Got to check it out. But another thing that was huge that happened in the sports world was Frazier from the Yankees hit a line drive ball, crushed it, hit someone who was sitting in the dugout with no netting, and it was like a little kid. And it was really bad. It got emotional. A lot of the players felt a lot of pain. And then here comes a discussion now on baseball and should they extend the fences throughout the dugout. And I'm surprised they already haven't done that already, knowing how the world is and safety and all that. I'm really shocked that it hasn't already. But honestly, yeah, I mean, it's got to happen. It's got to happen. The way that the ball comes off of these bats, the bat speed, the speed of the pitch coming in, it's set up for bad things to happen like this. I understand it doesn't happen that often, but I feel like it has the chance to happen enough. You see these guys crush the ball foul, and it goes real hard, and every time you think, damn, I hope that didn't hit anybody. It happens a lot. I mean, a couple times a game, right? I feel like they really do have to extend it, but on the other side now, people are complaining that takes away the feel of those tickets, of those seats that are right above the dugout. Now you're looking through a fence. But you know what? It has to happen. You got to do it, and once you do it, you'll get some hate for, a couple months, and then eventually it's just normal, and you don't even think about it anymore. But something needs to be done, right? You can't be having people getting smashed in the face with a baseball of 107 miles per hour exiting the bat. It just can't happen. I don't even know how people are arguing about it. It's pretty standard and normal thing to do. Staying up on baseball, though. Nobody in MLB history reached 45 RBIs in 41 games played except for anyone? Oh, that's right. Rhys Hoskins. I am ready for next year's baseball season already because I know the Phillies are gone. But listen to this outfield. Odubel, Aaron Altair, Nick Williams. J.P. Crawford, Rhys Hoskins in the infield, right? What do we do with Freddie Galvis? I don't know. You got Mike Alfranco at third. Do you keep Hernandez at second? I don't know. But that doesn't seem like a bad gig. Now, our only problem... Also, you have Jorge Alfaro behind the plate. The only problem is our starting pitching. All we have is Aaron Nola, and that's going to be the damage. That's what we got to figure out for next season. But this Phillies team is not as far away as I thought it was in the past, which is awesome. Now, I do have to go back to the NFL because there was some huge news. And I mean huge, because this Aaron Hernandez thing is serious. He had severe stage 3 CTE. And his family wants to sue the NFL and the Patriots. Now, I feel like these are one of these cases that the family's going to win because they're going to say the NFL knew he had a concussion and they didn't sit him or something like that. It's just, this is going to carry on to something very serious and it's going to get intense and they're going to make money off of it. The family's going to make money off of it. They say they looked at his brain after he committed suicide and they saw intense, severe CTE problems. This is bad for the NFL. Not only the suing part of it, the NFL in general. It's hurting the sport tremendously. It's hard to think there can be anything that can be done. I mean, how do you stop heads going full force at each other every single play for these guys in the trenches? I don't know. I saw some studies with helmets and how they are working on something where when the heads hit each other, the helmet kind of retracts itself a little bit. I don't know the science behind it. I do know that they put millions of dollars into it, which makes sense because they have to stop this. The NFL ratings are down. Not only saying because of this situation, but it's definitely not helping. I mean, between that, the protests, all this stuff, they need to really come out here and support the players and figure something out so people aren't dying from playing the sport. And the last thing here I have with the NFL, Richard Sherman came out and said, injury reports are strictly because people bet, and that holds people accountable for making certain bets. He's pretty much saying the NFL is lying about injury reports, so people question who to bet and all that stuff, or even if it's FanDuel, fantasy, one-day fantasies, all that good sense. He believes that the NFL literally makes this stuff up. And now that I'm thinking about it, he's probably right. How many times do I see a Q next to names of my fantasy players? And it's like, what? They all play. They all play. And this isn't even supposed to be a betting league, right? Like, you're not even supposed to be betting, really. It's all inside stuff that goes on. And that brings me to the Roger Goodell contract extension. And nobody likes him. So great, you bring back dancing in the end zone, you bring back all that good stuff, which is fun for the league, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to make him be a liked GM of the NFL. The commissioner. It's just not. He's not liked. I don't understand why. I don't know how it works, though. Can the NFL just, completely fire him? Is there no one else better for the job? I don't know if it's like a president thing where, you can't just fire the president. Can you just not fire the commissioner like that? I don't know the rules and regulations of it or what the contract says. But there's no way guys like him. I think he's an idiot. You got to make the players happy. If I was a commissioner, you got to make the players happy. And he's not doing that. He's starting to realize how much of a you-know-what he was. And I think that maybe he's on his way of picking it up a little bit, but he is a tool. Just get me to the Eagles game at 1 o'clock so I can see Carson Wentz throw for 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. One of the big things for me this week is to see him not drop the football. He fumbles the football way too much for my liking. But we can work on that, Carson. Yes, we can. Listen, this is it, baby. This is it. 2-1. We got to get this dub on Sunday, 1 o'clock at home. Man, is the link going to be popping. The Lincoln Financial Field is going to be on fire. The crowd is going to be crazy. There's no way the Giants beat us, man. There's no way. I'm getting fired up right now just thinking about it. Me screaming in my basement, my dog barking because I'm screaming too loud. Let's go, baby. But with that being said, I am going to end this episode here. It was another great one. Now, I'm doing this one on a Friday, a nice weekend episode. In the past, when I did this, the ratings aren't as great as when I do them during the week. I feel like that's because during the week, people have work. They listen to it. On the weekends, you go out. You have a good time with the boys. I get that. So I'm going to see how this does. I also like to do it because I feel like 2 episodes a week is not enough. I want to be consistently bringing out episodes. I want to be consistently producing episodes for people to listen to, and if you got time on the weekend to tune in to Sports Talk with Brodes, that is fantastic, and I would not be mad. So we're going to see how it goes. I also have something else in the works. I don't want to spill any beans yet until I figure out everything, and I know 100% that it is going to be a thing. So this is the end of episode 21. Thank you, everybody, for listening. You are great. Thanks for the support, and I will see you after week 3 of the NFL. See you guys later.